What's up, YouTube? It's me, Markiplier, and today I'm gonna explain to you a little thing called Vocaloid. Alright, so Vocaloid is it's a voice bank program, and it looks like this. And there's all this shit up here, and all this shit, and there's all these bars, and basically you use this to make robots sing your song, because you can't sing, so you use the robot. And everybody seems to think that Miku was the first Vocaloid. She's not. She's not even the first Vocaloid to Vocaloid. The first Vocaloids are really ugly. And their names are Leon, here's Leon, and Miriam. They're not like actually the first Vocaloids, but they're the first Vocaloids that people care about. And everybody thinks they're made by Krypton. Spoiler alert, they're not made by Krypton either. They were made by, I don't know, I think like Yamaha or something. I don't know, who cares. They're really ugly and they sound bad, and I don't really know why people like them, but they exist. And they were marketed by Krypton, which is how Krypton got into the whole Vocaloid thing. And then the first Vocaloid 2 is Sweet Anne, but we're not going to talk about her because I don't like her either. And then Miku was the first voice bank that was made by Krypton and marketed by Krypton as well. And everybody thinks that she's the first one, even though she's not. And that's why I'm making this video, so that all of you can be smart Vocaloid fans, know what you're getting into, understand the origins of the trade, and not be a freaking noob, alright? So, here's Miku. She's giving you a little peace sign. She was the first Krypton Vocaloid, and she has a little thing that says 01, because she was the first one. Alright. And then, the next like addition to the Krypton Vocaloid family, we got Double Trouble up in here. We got price for one for two. We got Crazy Twins, Crazy Crew. It's Rin and Len Kagomine, folks. Yeah, that's right. You all know her. You all love her. This is Rin Kagomine. And Rin, she's the happy-go-lucky, fun, energetic, big sister, twin. Some people think of them as mirror images, which I guess is more accurate considering their name means like mirror sound. But I don't give a fuck. They're brother and sister. And then this is Len. He's a fucker. And I don't know, he like pees with the door open. Yeah, so these guys were Vocaloid, come on, 02. And then, this is getting kind of big. So, then, Krypton was like, hey, people who aren't Japanese like Vocaloid and are using Vocaloid, so why don't we make a bilingual Vocaloid? And that's when my sexy wife was created. This is Megarine Luca, folks. The one you all know and love. The babe. The sex icon. The one and only. And everybody always draws her with huge boobs. And I mean, her boobs really aren't that big. You can see in the box art, they're really not that big, but hey, I'm not complaining, because she's pretty smexy. Just saying. And then there are a bunch of other Vocaloids that nobody really cares about. Mako and Kaito came, like, before, all these guys. They're cool. I like them. They weren't made by Krypton, but they were like adopted by Krypton later because I guess Yamaha didn't care about them. I don't know the story. I'm not up on the gossip. But there's Mako. And here's Kaito. Yeah, okay. Kaito is very, very gay. Anyway, so then we have the stories of the Vocaloid fandom. So let's see. We'll start with Haku. So Haku is she's what we call a derivative, and derivatives excuse me. Derivatives are basically like fan-made Vocaloids, kind of. They're like Vocaloids that are based off of existing Vocaloids, or like based off the concept of Vocaloid, but don't actually have their own voices. Like, their voices derive from the already existing Vocaloid voices, which is why they're called derivatives. And Haku, I believe, was the first one of these. I'm pretty sure she was the first one, but you know what? I could be wrong. I'm pretty positive that she was the first one, though. And she was created by this guy who also created Delhan, which, like, I don't know, he's supposed to be a derivative too, but then, like, in this comic that the guy made, like, explaining Haku's origins, Delhan, like, created Haku, so I don't know what the fuck is up with that guy, but he's a Len recolor, so who cares. And so Haku is supposed to be, like, she represents when people would use Miku and it sounded really bad. They're like, oh yeah, that's just Haku singing, because Haku fucking sucks at singing and nobody likes Haku at all. And so she's always depressed, and she's like an alcoholic, and I mean, I love her, but I love all Vocaloids equally. That's not true at all. And anyway, I guess I'll draw Del. He's a little man. He's always grumpy. He basically looks like Len, but he smokes. Okay. And then, my favorite derivative is Niru. Niru is freaking epic. She is... Okay, so this one requires a little bit more explanation. So, there was a point in time where, like, the Wikipedia page for Miku went down for maintenance, and also Google wasn't allowing you to search for Miku. Like, when you looked up Hatsune Miku, it would show zero results, or like it just wouldn't let you search. I don't really know which one it was. And these events coincided, and everybody was like, oh my god, it's the anti-Miku organization, what are we gonna do? They're gonna take away our idolu. And so people created this character whose, like, goal was to get rid of Miku because she was jealous. And her name was Niru, Akita Niru. And she has a cell phone. You may remember her from the hit Vocaloid single, Triple Baka, which I will be getting to in a moment. Yeah, she's grumpy, and she's tsundere and everything. She's awesome, I love her. Okay, so then things called Vipperloids started to pop up, and these, you may recognize this girl from my, my Canon Tumblr URL, mayhaps. Kasane Teto, everybody? You know this girl? Twin Drills? Yeah, I thought so. I'm basically Tumblr famous, so anybody who doesn't know me, well, they don't matter. So, Teto was the first Vipperloid, and basically, her whole deal was, she came out on April 1st, so she was an April Fool's joke, essentially, but she was presented as if she was a real Vocaloid, and some other person had created Utao, which is basically a replica of the Vocaloid program, but like a little dumbed down, not quite as, I don't know, convoluted, I guess. And it's free. And you can make your own voice banks, and people still do this to this day. Most of the voice banks really suck. But there are a lot of Utaos that are really good, and Teto remains one of the really good ones. And she was the first Viperloid. She was not the first Utao, but basically what it means to be a Viperloid is she was released on April 1st. She was presented as if she was like this new Vocaloid, and she was given the number 04 because she would be the fourth one, because there were 3. And everybody believed it because she had a voice, but it was an Utao voice, nobody knew that. And then after April Fool's was over, it was like, haha, April Fool's, it's just a joke. And so then her number became 0401 to represent her date of birth. And so she's the first Viperloid. The next Viperloid is actually a really cool one. I really like her a lot because she's intersex. Like, canonly, I don't fucking know how to speak or what words mean. It's canon, she's intersex. And her name is Yokune Ruko, and she's, epic freaking win. And she was presented as, like, an intersex Vocaloid with a male voice bank and a female voice bank, and she sounds really cool. I wish people used her more often. I like her a lot, but basically, yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's not a whole lot to say about this. She was released as like a Vocaloid as a joke, and people believed it, and then found out that it was fake. So the next Viperloid is probably the most famous aside from Teto, and his name is Ritsu, and he's quite the character. Okay, so Ritsu is a 6-year-old boy, which, I mean, you know, you hear that and you're like, alright, he's a 6-year-old boy. But not only is he a 6-year-old boy, but he has, like, D-cup breasts, and his breasts are not actually breasts. They are missiles that are implanted in his chest. And he weighs 25 tons because of this, because they are missiles and not boobs. So he was presented as if he's a new Vocaloid, and you know what, I don't know if people bought it. I assume they did, but Ritsu sounds quite good. People like him. I like him. His whole existence is kind of questionable, but you know what, everyone's a little problematic, right? And I don't know, there's a bunch of other Vocaloids that came after, like Gumi. She's pretty popular. She's cute. I like her. There's a lot more I could get into, like with the song history and like what songs are the most popular, but I don't think anybody cares about that. Thanks for watching. This is PewDiePie. See you later, guys.